Welcome to All About St. Paul, where we feature videos about city services, programs, entertainment, and more.
He's Nick Nelson from the city's video production team.
And she's Liz Wagner from Parks Department's Marketing and Communications Division.
Coming up on this week's show,
we get to know our new Superintendent of Schools.
The Eclipse wows St. Paul.
Find out where you can view the stars indoors.
A transformative program puts youth on the right track.
And a powerful look into the lives of refugees.
We'll have those stories and more coming up on All About St. Paul. We're here today on St. Paul's West Side.
And we'll have more on this neighborhood, including why it's called the West Side when it's really on the south.
Behind us is the Riverview West Side School of Excellence. Riverview is a pre-K through grade 5 Spanish-English dual immersion school in this predominantly Hispanic American neighborhood. Recent renovations here include a new playground, technology updates, and larger windows. The Riverview West Side School of Excellence is part of the St. Paul public school system.
Parents across the city are experiencing another exciting and possibly stressful back-to-school season. And kids here in St. Paul are getting ready for a year with a new superintendent.
Dr. Joe Gotthard begins his first year as St. Paul Public Schools Superintendent. He comes to us from Burnsville-Savage-Egan School District.
Now he enters the district with over 39,000 students and 5,000 employees. St. Paul Public Schools put together this look at Dr. Joe Gotthard. Let's take a look.
I grew up in Madison, Wisconsin, a family of 6, and lived around the corner from our elementary school. So from a young age, the elementary school was our backyard. It's where we played, that's where our activities were, and that's of course where I attended school. But it was a very middle class, very tight-knit community where parents knew all the children. We were outside all the time, and there was a lot of activity going on, whether it be an organized game or just hanging out with friends. The adults knew the children, and the children knew the adults. And that was truly a first for me of feeling part of a tight-knit community. So I had Mrs. Bell as my homeroom teacher for 3 years. And it is by far the most important person in my life, not only at that age, but even today. I continue to hear myself live by what she taught me. She was able to show me tough love, discipline, and my father being African American, Mrs. Bell is the first person who acknowledged my race. And it had a profound effect on me. I think she continued to pull me along the way with higher and higher expectations. My wife, Mary, has worked for state government for nearly 25 years and currently works for the Minnesota Department of Health right here in St. Paul. This fall, we'll be married for 23 years. I have 3 children. Our oldest daughter, Gabby, is a junior at Iowa State University and will be graduating next year. Our daughter, Grace, is a junior. She'll be a senior in high school next year. And then our son, Gavin, is going to be in 9th grade next year. From a young age, all 3 of our kids, I've shared the 3 L's with them, and that's listen, lead, and learn. And that's just been something that rolled off my tongue at a young age, and it's something that I want my kids to truly embrace each and every day. Growing up in Madison, spending time on that campus, I would go on to coach at their summer football camps, very close with their staff. It's an incredibly important part of me is the kind of culture and spirit of competition and togetherness and camaraderie that I've been able to experience in a way that not everyone has been able to. And it's a recipe that may sound simple, but there's some deep cultural beliefs in taking a group of people from all different cultures, different family values, different places, and saying we're going to build our success on our ability to believe in each other and to believe that we can, day in and day out, get better, improve, and compete with anyone. And I think it's a good leadership maxim that I've tried to instill in every community that I've worked in. Becoming a superintendent was never really on the career path, but I found out very quickly that the experiences that I've had, both as a community member growing up as an educator, as a leader, prepared me well to consider being the leader of a district. The cumulative experiences I've had over the past 20 years has prepared me to be a leader and a learner in a larger community like St. Paul Public Schools. There's nothing more important or gratifying than having former students reach out and continue to look at you as a teacher or a coach. It's really an honor that that title stays with you because there are only two people that recognize what that relationship was like, sometimes 20 years ago. So that's always a really gratifying feeling professionally to know that you continue to have an impact on the lives of people you worked with in the past.
I'm here now with Superintendent Gotthard. Dr. Gotthard, why did you want to lead St. Paul Public Schools, and what are you looking forward to?
The challenges of educational leadership are great, and St. Paul provides a lot of those wonderful challenges that, as an educational leader, I get to work with an entire community, St. Paul Public Schools, to be strong in terms of what we offer and provide our students, our staff, and our community. I'm most looking forward to getting to know the great people, passionate people that have a great deal of pride in their city and in our public school system.
The video we just saw talks a lot about your background, but what have you done specifically to get ready for this job?
Yeah, the video shared a lot about my experiences growing up in Madison, Wisconsin, a city similar in many ways to St. Paul, but different as well. And what I've enjoyed so far is getting to know the great people, the great culture of St. Paul, and the pride and learning about the pride that people have in both our city and most certainly in our public school system. And I think I've employed, since I've been here, a listen, learn, and lead opportunity for me to understand what each of our individual stakeholders want and expect out of a school district, and how can I best motivate, support, and believe in the people to get that job done in service of students and our community.
So what are some of your favorite things about St. Paul?
Well, since July 1st, I've learned we have 68 schools spread out across our entire city. Each of those 68 schools has a neighborhood that it's attached to, and there's a great deal of pride and tradition and culture and values found in each one of those neighborhoods, and therefore in our schools as well. So it's been important for me to learn what those values are in terms of what can shape my leadership around what's important, what matters most to the schools, to the community, to the experience our students need to have in those schools. So it's been great. It's been a lot of learning, but there's been a great deal of fun found in that as well, and learning what people are proud of.
Thank you, Dr. Gotthard. Have a great school year. Superintendent Gotthard encourages you to get in touch with him with your needs and ideas.
On August 21st, a total solar eclipse crossed the entire United States. Now, while the path of totality was south of here, the partial eclipse here in Minnesota still created a lot of buzz.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Eclipse fever hit St. Paul at dozens of viewing parties, including several at St. Paul Public Libraries. This was the scene at the Arlington Hills Community Center as kids, parents, and other neighbors lined up for a free pair of special eclipse viewing glasses. Just to bring everyone up to speed, an eclipse is when one celestial body blocks the view of another. In the case of a solar eclipse here on Earth, the moon passes in front of the sun, blocking the star's light. On August 21st, conditions were right for a total solar eclipse for a select few cities in a narrow band across the U.S. Here in Minnesota, north of the path of totality, the eclipse maxed out at 83%. But that didn't seem to dampen excitement.
Holy cow, that's so cool.
The clouds, on the other hand, at the last minute, a few breaks appeared and a wave of excitement swept the remaining attendees. It was just enough to glimpse the last total eclipse in the U.S. for a while. If you missed it, the next one comes as close as Indianapolis 7 years from now in 2024. This was just one of the many fun classes and activities offered every day at St. Paul Public Libraries. Go to sppl.org and click on Events and Classes.
Well, it was kind of a bummer about those clouds during the eclipse, but I know of a place here in St. Paul where the conditions are always perfect for stargazing.
Where's that, Nick?
Well, it's not here at Riverview, but it's at another grade school in St. Paul. I'll show you. Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Como Planetarium. What's that, you say? You didn't know St. Paul had a planetarium? Well, we do, and it's right here at Como Elementary. Let's head inside and learn about this little-known gem in the Como neighborhood. Well, I'm here with John Iverson. He's the director of the Como Planetarium. John, for folks who have never been to a planetarium before, tell us, what do we have here?
Well, Como Planetarium is a 60-seat planetarium with a 30-foot diameter domed ceiling. On the ceiling we can project content. Traditional astronomy content would be looking at the night sky, looking at the planets in the solar system. We're able to do that with a couple different types of technology. We have a couple projectors back here behind me. One is the old Starball projector. It's been there since 1975 when the planetarium was built. But about 5 years ago we installed new digital technology, and that new digital technology is the technology that allows us to not only fly around the solar system, visit planets, visit moons, but we can also show immersive films up above our heads and enjoy content in areas that goes well beyond astronomy.
Well, I love going to planetariums, but we didn't have anything like this in my school. This is a pretty cool resource for St. Paul students.
Yeah, it is a great resource, especially for St. Paul kids and the students here in Como Elementary School, which is where Como Planetarium is housed. Students from across the district visit the planetarium, primarily 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 8th grade students, but we're open to every grade level, anyone who wants to attend. We focus on things like, why does the moon move across the sky like it does? Why does it appear to change shape? Does it appear to change shape? Does it move across the sky? Same thing with the sun. We look at the path of the sun and we take a tour of the solar system with all the grade levels.
And I understand kids from across the metro area come. It's not just St. Paul.
Yeah, we have about 20,000 people visit the planetarium each year. And about 12,000 of those visits are from St. Paul students. But we also have students from districts all over the metro and even outside the metro that visit the planetarium. About 8,000 kids from outside the metro visit the planetarium every year.
Well, that's really cool. Now here's the best part. These shows are open to the public, right, John?
Yep, they're open to the public. It's a great resource here in the planetarium, and we want to make that available to the public. So we're offering public shows, and the public show content often addresses the night sky. People are curious about the night sky, and being the only planetarium in the metro, this is a place people can come and learn about the night sky. But they can learn about content in other areas too. So if you want to know what programs are being offered, you can go to our website, planetarium.spps.org, and see the schedule, and we'd love to have folks come and visit.
Well, you keep reaching for the stars, and until then, we'll see you at the Como Planetarium.
Come on down.
Well, once the school day is over, parents are faced with the question of what to do to keep their kids safe and busy.
That's where St. Paul Parks and Recreation comes in with a great program called Rec Check.
My name is Kiera. I'm a community recreation specialist for St. Paul Parks and Recreation. Rec Check is a program designed for young people to come to a space after school, express themselves artistically, receive academic help, and be able to build relationships with their peers as well as caring adults or youth workers.
My kids participate in Rec Check because Rec Check is a safe place that I feel safe with for my kid. If my kid doesn't show up and they know that they should be here, Rec Check will immediately give me a call.
They have the ability to participate in different art projects and programs. They also can do a lot of get up and play and movement in the gym or outside, as well as a cooking component where they sometimes create their own snacks, but we be sure that we feed them every day as well.
The staff here, they're impeccable. The people here at Rec Check are part of my support group. They help with supporting me, with supporting my kid through education, through arts and crafts, through physical ed.
When the kids walk in the door, they're very excited. I think the kids get a sense of community. They get the opportunity to build with their team. We're all about teamwork here and working together.
My sons, when they come to Rec Check, they tell me all kinds of great things. It's a very lovable and family-oriented environment. I encourage you, if you're not in Rec Check, get into Rec Check.
Well, in between the school year, older kids often look to get that first summer job, both for the experience and some good old cash.
The city has a program for that too. Right Track pairs students and employers in a mutually beneficial partnership.
Now, 2 of those Right Track students even took on my job of video producer and put together this profile of the Right Track program. Let's take a look.
My name is Najma Ali, and I'm an intern at Gov Public this summer. Right Track is a program created by the City of St. Paul that puts ambitious young people on the right track for their futures. The program places interns in government offices, private businesses, and nonprofits. The interns learn what it takes to work in a business. They also learn skills like interpersonal communication, email and phone etiquette, professional dressing, public speaking, and networking. These internships honestly make a huge impact on the lives of the students.
Like doing these internships, learning these skills, meeting these new people, all the hard work that I'm doing now will help me in the future. So that's the biggest reason I keep coming back to Right Track, because of the opportunity it gives me to help my future.
I would definitely recommend Right Track to my peers and friends and even my siblings. Kids should just be given that opportunity, and it'll just help them grow as like an adult. And we need younger kids to go and build the future for us. So.
My name is Patria Her, and I am a Right Track intern at the St. Paul Area Chamber of Commerce. The Right Track program is important because it helps grow and diversify the future workforce in Minnesota. It also provides opportunity to students and gives employers access to talented and motivated youth who are eager to explore various career options and bring a fresh perspective to any workspace.
I love working here because the people here are just smart and intelligent and young individuals who really care about me working here and also want me to succeed in life. And they always give me all this advice and all these things that I should be doing so I can become a successful person in whatever career that I actually want to achieve.
Kong Peng, he is probably one of the brightest individuals I have ever met, and he is just smart, he's efficient, he's funny, and I can just see him going a long ways after this.
City of St. Paul has a wonderful resource in the youth in St. Paul, and they need skills and employers need great employees, and we need to develop that pipeline. So the Right Track program is one way that we can do that.
My supervisors, they'll always push me to, you have to do this, or they'll send me out to the community by myself, and there's nobody else with me to help me out, so it really pushed me to, okay, now I have to get out of this nutshell and actually speak to people that I do not know.
Well, employers learn a lot from Right Track interns. Right Track interns, when they come in there, they think they can teach Right Track interns, but at the end, Right Track interns are the ones who teaches them. They remember what it was like to be young and what it was like to just start off fresh, and I think that's a very humbling experience to have.
So how do you get involved? Visit the Right Track website at righttrack.stpaul.com.
Way to go, Najma and Patria. Good luck with your future endeavors.
Now, I'll never forget my first summer job. It was washing dishes in a hot restaurant kitchen. It's one of the toughest jobs I've ever done, and it's made me appreciate every job since, including this one. How about you, Liz?
My first summer job was scooping bait and scooping ice cream at my parents' convenience store.
Well, that actually sounds like a lot of fun. As we mentioned earlier, we are on St. Paul's West Side, also known as District del Sol, a neighborhood rich in culture and history. In this next video, you'll learn some of that history.
west side of St. Paul originally got its name not from the fact that it sits west of St. Paul, but because at this point in the river, the Mississippi bends from its north-south bearing to an east-west, placing the west side on the left or west side of the river. In fact, this is the only St. Paul neighborhood on the other side of the Mississippi River. It took a long time for this area to become part of the city, partially because of geography and partially because this land was Dakota territory until treaties were signed in 1851. After that, it was first ferry crossings, then bridges like the early wooden Wabasha Street Bridge that helped the early community grow. As the lowlands near the river were threatened by frequent flooding, most businesses and housing sought locations higher on the bluff. The initial Dakota, French-Canadian, German, and Irish immigrants were met by subsequent Eastern European and Russian Jews, and later, large Mexican communities. While it became its own city of West St. Paul at one time, it has since been reincorporated into the larger city of St. Paul. Businesses such as the Jurg and Bruggemann breweries found favorable conditions along the caves of the sandstone bluffs. Other manufacturing industries grew, as did the working communities that supported them. Early on, it was the wealthy who built their more affluent houses along the top of the bluff, and much of the poor and working class who built below. But over time, there has been a more equal distribution of classes throughout the west side. Such churches as the Church of St. Michael at 389 South Robert Street reflect the cultural evolution of the west side community. Once Irish Catholic, the tower has since been renamed Torre de San Miguel in recognition of the Chicano community that now resides there. Other notable locations include the Omaha Swing Bridge and Harriet Island, which is one of St. Paul's most popular festival sites and provides a grand view of the city. Today, much of the heart of the West Side can be seen in the established Mexican segment of the neighborhood, where the culture thrives. In fact, the West Side Cinco de Mayo fiesta is one of the 10 largest in the United States. There are also Syrian and Lebanese influences that make the West Side even more unique. Today, the West Side remains a part of St. Paul, but it's distinctive not only in the geographic location of where it resides, but also in the culture of the communities that have helped to create it.
That video is part of the St. Paul Historical mobile app that provides tours and information on an interactive map of the city. The app was created by Historic St. Paul. We'll feature more of their videos on the neighborhoods of St. Paul coming up.
As mentioned, this neighborhood and many others in St. Paul played a welcoming role to immigrants and refugees.
A photo exhibit recently on display at Central Library details the Minnesota refugee experience in evocative portraits and compelling stories.
I'm James Bowie. I'm a documentary artist and I specialize primarily in issues of human rights and global poverty. In particular, I'm interested in the state of the empathetic imagination in contemporary society. When Home Won't Let You Stay is a traveling exhibition of photographs and first-person stories of refugees in America. I spent the better part of the last year and a half traveling the highways and byways of Minnesota and other areas, sitting in the living rooms and workplaces and schools of refugees and listening to their stories and taking their photographs. And the result of that is this series of images and in very personal stories as told by the refugees along with their photograph.
There are over 21 million refugees today around the world, many of whom are living in refugee camps. So there's a long wait, there's a diligent process that they have to go through, taking up years of their life and their families' lives. in order to even be eligible to get here. And then when they do get here, they often arrive with nothing. They have the plane ticket, which they need to repay the cost of that plane ticket, and they have the clothes on their back in most cases. It's a horrendous experience for a family to be uprooted from their home and move to a country we know nothing about. It's a tremendous opportunity for them, but at the same time, you can imagine the fear, trepidation, and adjustment that they make.
They're fleeing their home because they have a well-founded fear of persecution. Their country doesn't keep them safe, and in some instances, the country is actually the perpetrator of violence. And they stay in Minnesota for the same reasons that the rest of us live here and love Minnesota, because of opportunity, because of jobs, because of education and community.
One of the many, many revelations that came about for me is that the refugee story is the human story. That in many ways, we are all the products of refugees or displaced people. That most of us don't have to go back very far to find a connection to displacement.
I think what we can do is just appreciate what they've been through, know that they came here to better their lives, know that they came here to escape persecution and danger in their own countries, that they've been through a fair amount of trauma, and the more welcoming, as one refugee said, you know, when you see me smile, a smile means a lot. And I think that's a minimum that we can do.
When we hear someone's story, it really changes everything. And I think what we find is that we're all connected, that there is, in fact, a common shared experience, whatever your religion, whatever your nationality, whatever your life experience, that at its root, we all have similar ancestries, we have similar hopes, we have similar dreams that go far beyond the particulars of culture or nationality or experience.
Always something cool happening at St. Paul Public Library. Well, that's our show for this time. As usual, you can see all the city's videos at the city's official YouTube channel, youtube.com/stpaulgov.
See you next time.